In its current state, I would say that it's just become exponential in the amount of information, the amount of channels you can use to leverage that information. And the overall label, I would say, is complex. There's a ton of information. Are you really truly understanding the evolution of the consumer's own relationship with data as they become smarter about the choices they make and what information they give up for what they get in return and where they want to be engaged? One of the things that we've developed that a lot of clients find very helpful is segmentation tools. There's so much data out there, and it's so difficult to understand what is behavioral, what is transactional, what is compliant, what is not. And to achieve the scale that people want, it can be daunting. And so a segmentation tool really lets us look at every single consumer and household in the US and place them on a scale against a specific behavior with a high probability or a low probability. I think one of the critical elements is look internally first, figure out who your ideal customer is. Because if you understand your current customer, you understand how to better talk to them, how to better engage with them where they want to be engaged, how to create a better consumer experience for them. And it matters. Consumers care. And so creating that lifetime value for that consumer and keeping and retaining them is critical. But it also gives you the insight and intelligence to understand everyone else in the country that looks exactly like your ideal. So when it comes time to go prospect new customers, you can apply that information and really be very smart with your marketing dollars and hitting only those people that are your ideal. One being a large telecom company. They're a carrier and they were interested in being more efficient with their marketing dollars. And so they leaned into our segmentation tool, Connections. It puts everyone in the country into a bucket or on a scale to be able to say they're going to have a very high propensity to, a particular behavior versus the absolute opposite end of the spectrum. By leveraging Connections, that segmentation tool, to go out into the digital ecosystem, serving it was, a little over 10 million impressions. Because they were using our segmentation to do audience targeting, they lowered their cost 94% on the cost it took them to serve those impressions. And they increased the engagement rate or the activation rate 54% against the customers that they did reach. So huge success for them. We have a client, one of the largest auto manufacturers in the world, who wanted to look at their customer base through the lens of their own engagement and their own manufacturing process. They wanted to analyze their current customer base and apply that to the entire US population. So if they're thinking about, marketing their EV versus their non-EV SUV versus their four-door sedan versus their sports car, they could be really smart about spending those marketing dollars and hitting the exact person that has the ability, propensity, probability of taking action and buying that new vehicle or servicing that vehicle. And all of that was, rooted in audience targeting and using data to better understand their customer and everyone else that they were trying to reach. I'm excited, and it's not just selfishly because of where we're positioned in the market, but cookies were tough. They were a black box. A lot of people used them to track people in manners and ways that they didn't appreciate. It wasn't always the best consumer experience and really became detrimental to the effectiveness of using data and tools in the digital ecosystem for marketers that were doing it the right way. I think overall for marketers, it's a non-impact because there are a lot of companies like us that have been out there preparing solutions. We have our own identity graph that looks at engagement and identifiers in a lot of different ways, so we're not completely dependent upon a cookie. We understand and have engaged with consumers to get their permission to use their email address. We have IP addresses, we have mobile ad IDs, we have addresses, third-party partnerships with IDs that are out in the marketplace like UID2 or Ramp ID. Those are critical to be able to engage and continue to interact and do audience targeting using the tools that we've developed without the cookie. As I mentioned earlier, it's extremely complex. There's a lot of information, there's a lot of channels, there's a lot of acronyms, there's a lot of different things going on. For those of you who are just getting into audience targeting, we do have some very helpful tools out on Claritas.com, one of which is Why It Pays to Segment Your Audience, a guide to finding more and better prospects, along with a lot of other case studies and examples of how you leverage information for audience targeting to achieve your goals. It's a great starting point and something you can use to better understand some of the points we're talking about today.